Hello. I had to leave. I had to clip the last one a little short because a roommate was suddenly coming in, and they are a very noisy roommate. Not my other roommate that I just would feel awkward doing this in front of. But I just wanted to finish up real quick the pictures and a quick little summary for the Clipper article. We had the Sovereign of the Seas, which I never did find. I was looking for what the fastest time was. Sovereign of the seas. My horn can pierce the sky. There we are. Okay. Sovereign of the Seas reported the highest speed ever achieved by a sailing ship at 22 knots. Um, so yeah. That was this boat here was the fastest sailing ship in 1854. The Sovereign of the Seas. Hornet, an American clipper ship of the 1850s. Is this one of those ship cards they were talking about? It's now rapidly loading at Pier 15 East River. Cool little advertisement for 105 days to San Francisco for a fast little ship. The composite construction, we were hearing about the hulls that it looks like it uses wood on the outside and then uh, iron beams on the inside for bracing. I don't know proper terminology for this all. I imagine it may have also used copper plating then to prevent fouling and the worm, the boat worm, whatever it is called, an opium clipper water witch, British bark built in 1831. It's not a great image of a picture. The Cutty Sark, we have seen this is the only full clipper still surviving, while the other one it was a hulk. I think they said it had sank down from it sank down in its mooring and then was brought back out and is now in piece. I guess in pieces in Australia. I don't know fully. Clipper ship Southern Cross leaving Boston Harbor in 1851. Quite pretty. Quite a pretty image. Yeah, it's very pretty. Rough waters, it shows. It's a long, narrow ship, as clippers were. This guy, I don't know how to pronounce its name, the SS Agamemnon, the first steamer with the fuel efficiency to challenge sailing vessels on the long distance route from Britain to the China teaports. That is the boat that kind of made clippers go bye bye. City of Adelaide, another boat, pretty, 1864. And a Clipper ship sailing card for the free trade printed by Nesbitt and Co., New York in the early 1860s. Cool. It's a master receiving her cargo. Yeah. Made the passage to Liverpool in 16 days. Stands a one extra. So those are the images, and let me quickly try to do a little recap, if for no one else other than myself. So Clippers, of course, are 18th century fast boats. They don't necessarily stick to a specific sail plan or hull style, although they do have some criteria that often describe them. Um, Comes from the verb clip, like to clip along, to move quickly. Although it seemed like it was, sorry, not although, and it seemed like the name was first used to describe a Baltimore-built ship of the Baltimore Clipper. Um, let's see, speed over cargo carrying capacity, has a sharp dead rise often. Let's see, there exists an extreme clipper which super sacrifices cargo carrying capacity for speed. There's a medium clipper which has better cargo carrying capacity, and then the normal clipper is kind of in between the extreme and the medium. But they were fast moving boats. Um, yeah, first ships to which the term clipper were the Baltimore Clippers from the Chesapeake Bay before the American Revolution. Um, Yeah. Those early ones rarely exceeded 200 tons OM, but we do see later on a number of clippers quite heavily exceeded um, 200 tons OM. Like, let's see, Ann McKim. Do we have a weight there? Or, yeah, I don't know if it's a weight, but carrying capacity. Volumetric measurement. 494 tons OM, so much, much bigger. Um, like twice the size, if not a little more. That's the Ann McKim, built in Baltimore, 1833. 1833. She potentially was the first. Why are boats always she? I mean, that's something else to learn. Um, I feel like that should be common knowledge. I feel like I know, but I don't know. It's not in my head. Um, but yeah, so Ann McKim was potentially the first clipper ship, although some historians say that there was not a first clipper, but rather it was like a multi-step thing to get to, like well, it says here, a more evolutionary multi-step development of the type, which that says it well. But this ship definitely did influence Rainbow of 1845, the first extreme clipper ship. We have the Aberdeen Clipper, Clipper bow rather. So I suppose that is a style, and the Scottish Maid of 1839 was at 150 tons OM, the first British clipper. And some of these early British clippers were trading between Britain and the Far East, Europe, China, as T clippers. We had some big clippers, 650 tons OM. Rainbow in 1845, 757 tons OM was the first extreme clipper out of New York. Um, they really sacrificed cargo capacity for speed. Yeah, let's see. Flying Cloud was a clipper in 1851 that established the fastest passage between New York and San Francisco within weeks of her launching. Um, Medford, Massachusetts was known for having great clippers. Kind of colloquially, a Medford built ship meant the best. Um, Composite constructions came around where you would use both wood and iron, and those were um, stronger, I think, and lighter. If I was understanding correctly, I guess having the iron braces, you could use less iron and have it be stronger. I imagine. I'm honestly assuming that they didn't elaborate super strong in here, if I recall correctly. Um, but they still had wooden planking that, with properly insulated fastenings, could use copper sheathing, which prevented galvanic corrosion, and it also prevented fouling, which is the buildup of microorganisms, plants, and algae on surfaces in the water, and prevented Teredo worm, which is, I'm guessing, something that's not good for the wood on boats. And it is a bivalve mollusk. They could not be, so the copper sheathing prevented those things, but copper sheathing could not be used on an iron hull, only iron framework with a wood hull. Um, Iron framework of composite clippers was less bulky and lighter, so more cargo in a hull with the same external shape. The Suez Canal, opening in 1869, kind of saw the downfall rather of clippers. Um, Here, opium clippers. Some clippers were built specifically for getting into China and evading the feds, because opium was a no-no. Um, which I somewhere there was also the bit that some Baltimore Clippers, maybe it is right in here, Baltimore Clippers were used in the slave trade to evade the authorities, and then once busted for slave trading, they just moved right over to opium. So great, from one illegal to another. Um, the Cutty Sark, one of the two surviving clippers, was damaged by fire while in dry dock. So that's great. Um, Clippers used for seasonal trade or for passenger ships sometimes. City of Adelaide, sorry, is the other surviving one that was reduced to a hulk. Um, Yeah. They had peaks. The last China Clippers had peak speeds over 16 knots or 30 kilometers an hour, which is about 6, 12, 18 miles per hour roughly. But average speeds were much less. Sorry, I'm reading. The Great Tea Race of 1866 was a race like when the season started for tea to see who could like get into port fastest, more or less. Sovereign of the Seas reported the highest speed ever achieved by sailing ship at 22 knots, 41 kilometers an hour, or roughly 25 miles an hour, um, which is quite fast. So yeah, the decline in America, it seemed Clippers were on the rise in the 50s, peaked in 53, 1853 this is, and then the Crimean War came around in 54, and that saw an immediate tank in our building of the ships. We've got a little chart here, and then so they like peaked there, quickly dipped there, and then in 57 we had an economic recession, collapse, I don't know, decline, yeah, financial crisis, and that tanked it even more. So by the 60s, like Clippers were kind of done in America. They continued in Britain until the 70s. It seemed they were still producing a couple more Clippers a year in Britain for that route between Britain and China for tea, I believe. But by the 70s, um, in 69 the Suez Canal opened, which made it so that what normally was a 123-day route from, what was it, around the Cape of Good Hope, so around the lowest point of Africa. um, okay, it looks like from China to London, the average time for a clipper to do that route was 123 days. A clipper 123 days from China to London, and that's, if I understand correctly, a one-way trip, not round trip there. So that sucks. Um, and once the Suez Canal opened, which, if I understand correctly, a sail ship could not get through, it was only a steamship route, that 123-day route was cut down to 58 days. Um, and yeah, again, only steamships could do that. So, with that being less than half the amount of time, Clippers quite quickly saw their demise. Although Clippers continued to be used, it seemed, from Britain to Australia and New Zealand until the 1870s. And at that point, it seemed like they weren't really making any more Clippers. They were just kind of letting the Clippers continue to be used. And as they fell into disrepair, they retired the boats because by then, um, it seems laws allowed or regulations allowed steamships to be built more effectively, and yeah, the steamships just kind of took over there, and yeah, sail ships in general went away and were replaced by um, steamships. But yeah, so there's the recap, which took a bit of time in itself, but it's important to recap stuff for longer term memory and just to express general understanding. I wanted to read also the Baltimore Clipper article. Um, yeah, and we'll see if I'm feeling like there's time without making this too long of an article or a video. I'll probably read another short one, hopefully. A Baltimore Clipper is a fast sailing ship historically built on the mid Atlantic seaboard of the United States of America, especially at the port of Baltimore, Maryland. An early form of early form of clipper, the name is is most commonly applied to two-mast schooners and brigantines. I need to figure out how that's pronounced. Brigantine. How pronounced? How pronounced? Pronunciation. Come on. Go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Brigantine. Ooh, sorry, it's in my headphones. Brigantine. Brigantine. Cool. Okay, brigantine. Yeah. most commonly applied to two-masted schooners and brigantines. These vessels may also be referred to as Baltimore Flyers. History: Baltimore Clippers were built as small, fast-sailing vessels for trade around the coastlines of the U.S. and with the Caribbean islands. Their hull lines tended to be very sharp with a V-shaped cross-section below the waterline and strongly raked stem, stern posts, and masts. The origin I'm messing this up. The origins of the type are unknown, but certainly hulls conforming to the concept were being built in Jamaica and Bermuda, with the hull of the ocean-going Bermuda sloop, uh, broader than the Jamaican and deeper than the American design. By the late 18th century, the Baltimore configuration was not only popular in the U.S. as a merchant craft, but also in Britain. The National Maritime Museum, Greenwich, has a one-page drawing labeled "A Drawing of His Majesty's Armed Schooner Berbis, the 5th August 1789," that comprises a shear plan, body lines, deck plan, lines, and a view of her stern. Ooh! These drawings of HMS, Her Majesty's? HMS. What does it stand for? Will you tell me? No, you won't. Okay, I accidentally clicked twice. HMS. What does HMS mean on a ship? Okay, cool. His or Her Majesty's ship. That's what I thought. These drawings of Her Majesty's ship, HMS Berbis, sorry if I mispronounced that, represent the earliest draft of what became known as the Baltimore Clipper. The Royal Navy found the schooners of only limited usefulness during the French Revolutionary Wars and Napoleonic Wars because they were unstable gun platforms due to their design for extreme speed compared to their size. Furthermore, the schooner rig does not allow sails to be backed, creating a disadvantage in maneuverability in battle. They were adopted after the wars to pursue slave ships. Okay, cool. Okay. So yeah, Royal Navy did not find the schooners useful because they were unstable. They were especially suited to moving low-density, high-value perishable cargo. Woo! High-value perishable cargoes such as slaves, and in that trade operated as far afield as the west coast of Africa. Similar merchant vessels were given letters of marque and served as privateers during the War of Independence. During the War of 1812, merchant schooners were too small and slow to escape the British blockade, and larger, faster, more heavily armed, purpose-built privateer Baltimore Clippers were developed. Served as privateers. Let's see what I suppose I don't know exactly. Privateer is a private person who, or a vessel that, engages in maritime warfare under a commission of war, since robbery under arms was a common aspect of seaborne trade until the early 19th century. All merchant ships carried arms. Fair enough. That name honestly fits like what you'd assume pretty well. Purpose-built privateer Baltimore Clippers. The most famous of these larger vessels were the privateers Chasseur, which I think we read about in the Clipper article. Prince du Neufchâtel. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Come on, give me some hyperlinks here, yo. Come on, give me my hyperlink. I don't want to have to open it, but I will. Just want to see a quick little pic. You know what I'm saying? And General Armstrong. Now it's taking forever just to load this picture. What is up? I know I have a very low RAM on this computer. Okay, here's Chasseur. And the schooner St. Lawrence. I guess that's probably the schooner. That's the Chasseur. Chasseur? I don't know. I'm calling it incorrectly. Chasseur would have an IE in it. That's Chasseur. General Armstrong. Okay. Prince de Neufchâtel. Whatever. Dog. Sorry, this dog is driving me bonkers. My brain is not able to focus because she keeps making silly, stupid noises. Prince de Neufchâtel resisted an attack by a fourfold numerically superior force in the ships of HMS Endymion, and Chasseur alone. Sorry, how is this Princeton resisted an attack by a fourfold numerically superior force in the ships of HMS Endymion and Chasseur alone captured more enemy ships than the entire U.S. Navy during the war. That that sentence doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I don't know why. Numerically superior forces and is it saying like is this a separate clause? A separate clause here? And Chasseur alone captured more enemy ships. Okay, whatever. Whatever. Nevertheless, most privateers during the war were of the smaller type and served as merchant ships despite being given letters of marque. As a result, more privateers were taken by the British blockade of 1813 than ever took a prize themselves. So sad. The Baltimore Clipper's demise and use came about not because of outdated capabilities, but from people not wanting to be associated with the less than admirable activities for which they had become known, such as illegally importing slaves after the act prohibiting importation of slaves in 1807 and raiding in South America. One particularly famous Baltimore Clipper, and one of the last of the type in commercial service, was the schooner Vigilant, that traded around the Danish Caribbean islands for over a century before sinking in a hurricane on the 12th of September 1928. That's around when my grandmother was born. Vigilant. She was believed to have been built in the 1790s. Wow. And that was a Baltimore Clipper built in the 1790s. They were giving it the name Clipper then? Huh. Did we get a... I guess we didn't. Well, we got the first draft of a Baltimore Clipper in 1789. I don't know. I was just from the Clipper article. It made it seem like they first was maybe sorry, they were first posed as a name in the early 1800s. Oxford's earliest quote referring to the Baltimore Clipper is 1824. So I guess the name was just kind of given retrospectively. Okay, whatever. Famous Baltimore Clippers, we have Vigilant, 1794, one of the first and most famous. She sailed for over 130 years, bringing mail and passengers to ports in the Danish West Indies and around the Virgin Islands. Chasseur of 1812, a fine example of a Baltimore Clipper, built by Thomas Kemp and commanded by Captain Thomas Boyle, an American privateer during the War of 1812. Isn't that the what's his name? The Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. What's his first name? Shoot, why can I not remember his name? Boyle. Well, let me see. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Boyle, 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 Boyle. Come on, where is Joe Latrulio? Charles. Right, Charles. Lynx of 1812, another famous Baltimore Clipper, was an excellent example, also built by Thomas Kemp for the War of 1812. It's a pretty... Wait, is that the same build? Schooner Lynx at the British... Okay, I don't know. HMS Black Joke. That's not a great name. The captured slave ship. Okay, still great. Still not great, rather. Originally was built as a slave ship, but ended up freeing several hundred slaves in service of the West African Squadron. Okay, redemption. What is the West Africa Squadron? Squadron of the British Royal Navy, whose goal was to suppress the Atlantic slave trade by patrolling the coast of West Africa. HMS Black Joke. Man, what a name. Do we get a little hint at the naming here? If this will ever load. In the meantime, Anne McKim of 1833, one of the first true Clippers. Okay, so I guess Clipper and Baltimore Clipper are different things. That's fair. The site cannot be reached. Well, reach it anyway. What is up? Took too long to respond. Can't just be my RAM, or can it? I don't actually know. Here we go. Let me see if I can find. Okay, so under the UK, under Brazil, it was called Enriqueta. That sounded Italian. Whatever. Enriquatre. I don't know. It was called something different when it was owned by Brazil, trading slaves, I guess. Yeah, slave dealer at Bahia. Making equivalent to about 7 million euros in 20 in yeah. Wait, purchased her. She worked for that, making by running. Okay, yeah, over 3 years, made about $7 million. Scaled up in our monies. But then moved to be named the Black Joke under British control. Why did they name it that? Why did they name it that? Come on, give me an explanation. Give me an explanation. Okay. Seems like I'm not going to get an answer as to why it was named that. But in 1832, they asked people and the crew, I guess, and the crew was like, "Yeah, this boat is not good for service um, due to rot," and they burned it. They just burnt it. Maybe that was common. I don't know, to burn a boat. Probably be kind of pretty. Mm. Surgeon Peter Leonard, surgeon of the HMS Dryad, wrote that she was the ship which has done more towards putting an end to the vile traffic in slaves than all the ships of the station put together. So I guess we salute the Black Joke. It's just such a poorly aging name. Anyway, Baltimore Clippers in pop culture, Captain Jack Aubrey uses a captured Baltimore Clipper, the Ringle, as his tender in the Patrick O'Brian novels, The Commodore and The Yellow Admiral. The ship is named after the American writer who brought the Clippers to O'Brien's attention. Modern replicas of an early 19th century Baltimore Clipper type include the ill-fated Pride of Baltimore, her replacement, Pride of Baltimore II, Californian, La Amistad, Shenandoah, and the Liberty Clipper and the Privateer Lynx. Pride of Baltimore has have an ill fate. I unfortunately don't care. Oh, that is a really pretty boat. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, that's the second one. I think that's probably the one that I've seen. Commissioned by the 44th Mayor of Baltimore. White guy? Yep. Okay, sorry. The thinking. Let's see. A microburst squall. Microburst squall. Oh, okay. I know what a microburst is. Yeah. Possibly a white squall. Struck the Pride while it was returning from the Caribbean, 250 nautical miles north of Puerto Rico. Winds of 80 knots or 92 miles per hour hit the vessel, capsizing and sinking it. Oh, its captain and 3 crew died. Remaining 8 crew members floated in a partially inflated life raft for 4 days and 7 hours, with little food or water until the Norwegian tanker Toro came upon them and rescued them. Golly, that is sad. In the 80s, on a boat 100 years old, or sorry, a design 100 years old, but a modern boat. Just a freak event, it seems. A squall, microburst squall, hit it, and man, that's terrible. Too young. Too young. 42, 27, 29, and 23. And to think like that it would probably be such an honor to be able to crew a boat like that. Man, and it gets hit with a freak little thing like that. That is sad. Oh, it's got diesel. It's got diesel motors on it. At least the second one, Pride of Baltimore 2. Man, what a bummer. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, Pride of Baltimore. Where am I? Pride of Baltimore. Wait, how did I get where? What? This was. Oh, I just clicked around. Going back did not take me back an article, just to the top of this one. Okay. So here's a replica of 1847 Baltimore Clipper. For the load, the Californian built in 1984. They are pretty boats. Drawing for the Flying Fish class, modeled on an American vessel, was sent to Bermudan builders by the why can I not say that? Admiralty, we'll say. An original Baltimore Clipper, these were used as privateers during the War of 1812. Mm-mm. Let me see. That might be it for right now. Um, yeah, so not a ton differentiating, it seems, the Baltimore Clipper from the normal Clipper. Just to kind of recap here, hulls conforming to the concept being built in Jamaican Bermuda. We'll see how long is the Bermuda slope article. Kind of want to read another one. These are interesting. Son of a gun. Come on. There you go. It's a little longer than I want to read real quick. Let me see if there's another short article. And in the meantime, enjoy the soothing sounds of daybreak. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da, ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da-da, ba-ba-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da-ba. Ow. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da, ba-ba-ba-ba-da. How long is the Teredo worm article? It's not too bad. Sure, let's do it. Teredo navalis, commonly called the naval shipworm or turu, is a species of saltwater clam, a marine bivalve mollusk in the family Pteridinidae. Pteridinidae. This species is the type species of the genus Teredo. Like other species in this family, this bivalve is called a shipworm because it resembles a worm. Dog, you gotta stop dropping that ball. This species is, this bivalve is called a shipworm because it resembles a worm in general appearance, while at the anterior end it has a small shell with two valves and is adept at boring through wood. Bummer. Worm-like appearance, and at the anterior end has a small shell with two valves and it bores through wood, this sucker. Golly. Whoops. This species may have originated in the northeast Atlantic Ocean, but has spread around the world. It tunnels into underwater piers and pilings and is a major cause of damage and destruction to submarine timber structures and the hulls of wooden boats. Teredo navalis? I don't know. I want to say naval because, like, naval, but also looks like, I don't know, Latin, navalis, navalis? I don't know. Whatever. Teredo navalis, we're just going to say, has an elongated, reddish, worm-like body, which is completely enclosed in a tunnel it has made in floating or submerged timber. At the front end of the animal are two triangular calcareous plates. These are up to 2 centimeters long and correspond to the valves of other bivalve mollusks. They are white with a covering of pale brown periostracum. Periostracum? Thin organic coating that is the outermost layer of the shell of many shelled animals. Cool. Has a brown covering of a pale brown periostracum and have rough ridges. The mollusk uses them to grasp the wood and slowly enlarges the burrow in which it lives. It has retractable inhalant and exhalant siphons, which project through a small hole in the horny septum, which blocks the opening of the burrow. When the animal is threatened, how long does this thing get? So the calcareous plates are up to 2 centimeters long, which is 3/4 of an inch. How long is the actual thing stretched out? Oh, I think we're about to get there, maybe. When the animal is threatened, the siphons can be drawn inside the burrow and protected by a pair of calcareous ore-like pallets. The tunnel is circular in cross-section and is lined with calcareous material extruded by the mollusk. It can be up to 60 centimeters, or 24 inches, long and 1 centimeter in diameter. They are edible and are traditionally consumed on the island of Marajo, or Marajo, I don't know how it is, and parts of Thailand. Come on, give me the quick link, you son of a gun. I get frustrated by computer running slow. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's in Brazil. Oh, Marajó. Marajó. Marajó? I don't know. Parts of Thailand. They're commonly described as tasting like clam or oyster and are often prepared in similar ways. Distribution and habitat. Teredo navalis is found in temperate and tropical seas and oceans worldwide. It may have originated in the northeast Atlantic Ocean, but it is difficult to establish where it originally came from because it has spread so efficiently around the world on debris and hulls of ships. It is found in the littoral zone, litoral. That's the word for like shore or coastline in Portuguese, right? Yeah, literal. Cool. Littoral, I don't know. Littoral zone living inside submerged timber, pilings, driftwood, and in the hulls of wooden boats. Sorry, I need to slow down. I keep getting distracted by the dog trying to throw a ball at me. And like, sorry, I'm not a dog person. It's my roommate's dog. But when the dog starts distracting me, then I just start like blindly reading and not actually consuming any information, which is why I probably need to do this in a place where she's not allowed. But I've tried to talk to my roommate. Well, just last night I talked to my roommate about like maybe have our basement be a no dog zone so I have one place of solitude. Listen, if you're like, oh, he doesn't like dogs, before the age of 18, my parents were split, and like each parent had like three dogs at a time. So before the age of 18, in my life, I had some like, I don't know, 12 dogs or something, and six cats, and all other kinds of zoo animals. So like, I don't know, you get over encumbered with these creatures, and I don't know. I've talked to at least one brother too. At least one brother does not want a dog, wants nothing to do with them. So it's like, I don't know. You have too many dogs growing up, you just get burnt out. I don't. I'm not mean to the dog, but I also I don't know. I want my space from it. I want my basement free of dog. Anyway, that's a personal issue. So sorry if you're here for the Wikipedia and that's it. You got a little extra. How about that? Great. Okay. So yeah, the Teredo navalis or navalis. I don't care. I do actually. Yeah, I do. Difficult to step. I need to kind of reread this because, like I was saying, when the dog starts walking around, my brain goes blank and I just start reading and not actually comprehending. Found in temperate and tropical seas, may have originated in the northeast Atlantic Ocean, but difficult to establish where it originally came from because it spread so far around the world. In the littoral, I don't know how it's pronounced in English, zone, living inside submerged wood, basically. Found in brackish water as well as the open sea and tolerates salinities ranging from 5 to 35 parts per thousand. It is also tolerant of a wide range of temperatures. Individuals have survived as high as 30 Celsius or 86 Fahrenheit and as low as 1 Celsius, 34 Fahrenheit. Okay. 30 Celsius to 1 Celsius. 86 Fahrenheit to 34 Fahrenheit. Though growth and reproduction are restricted to the range from 11 to 25 Celsius or 52 to 77 Fahrenheit. So that is where they like to grow and reproduce. It can also live without air for about 6 weeks, using up its stored glycogen reserves. Dispersal to new habitats occurs both during the free-living larval stage, by floating timbers carried along by currents, and, historically, from the hulls of wooden vessels. In the Baltic Sea, there were several mass occurrences in the 1930s and 50s. Biology. Food particles, mostly timber raspings, but also some microalgae, are extracted from the water, passing through the gills, where gas exchange also takes place. Which gas exchange we should remember from, well, I guess we never had it defined, but we've read a lot about it in other. I don't know why I've been on such a freaking nautical thing. Little, I don't know. Been a lot of nautical stuff. Ignore all this. Gas exchange. I guess we never did get it defined. I just have a vague image in my mind of what it's like. At each cell in your body, oxygen is exchanged for waste gas. Okay, that's it. Cool, great. Yeah. Okay, that's easy. Oopsie. Um, yeah, so extracted from water passing through the gills where gas exchange also takes place. The gills also contain symbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria, which produce enzymes that help to digest the cellulose in the wood. Okay, so symbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria in the gills produce enzymes that digest cellulose in the wood. Waste reproductive gametes, I forget biology, and larvae are discharged through the back of the burrow, which is open to the sea through a narrow aperture. Teredo navalis is a protandrous hermaphrodite. Protandrous hermaphrodite. Nice. Whoops. All individuals start their adult life as males, becoming mature when they are a few centimeters long, releasing sperm into the sea. Shoot your seed into the sea. In warmer areas, they change into females about 8 to 10 weeks after settling, but this change may take 6 months before it occurs in colder climates. Interesting. So they shoot their, yeah, they get it out into the water when they're young and male and a few centimeters long. And then if it's warm, then they more or less quickly, after 8 to 10 weeks, they change into a female. And I hope they don't suck their own stuff back in, but I guess I don't know. Interesting. The eggs are fertilized when sperm gets sucked into the burrow of a female through the inhalant siphon. More than 1 million larvae at a time are brooded in the gill chamber, after which they are released into the sea as veliger larvae. A veliger is the planktonic larva of many kinds of sea snails and freshwater snails, as well as most bivalve mollusks, clams, and tusk shells. Okay. I hope I pronounced that somewhat right. Veliger. By this time, they have developed a velum, which is, I think, the little arm thingy. Okay, nope, might be wrong. They've developed a velum, a ciliated, locomotory, and feeding. Oh, ciliated. Sorry, a ciliated locomotory and feeding organ, and the rudiments of a straight hinged shell. Rudiments of a straight hinged shell. So I think velum is like the little arm type thing. Come on. Do I not get anything further here? Who cares? I do, but not enough. They eat phytoplankton and disperse with the current for 2 or 3 weeks. During further larval stages, they develop siphons and gills. Cool. When they are ready to undergo metamorphosis, they search for suitable timber on which to settle. They seem to be able to detect rotting wood. They seem to be able to detect it. Okay. And are able to swim towards it when they are close enough. Okay. Each one then crawls around until it finds a suitable location. Okay. Wonder what suitable is. Where it attaches itself with a byssus thread. Byssus. Bundle of filaments secreted by many species of bivalve mollusk that attach it to a surface. Okay. Kind of like roots. It may secrete an enzyme to soften the wood. Interesting. May secrete an enzyme to soften the wood before starting to dig with its foot. Now, I wonder if that wording. This is. I'm sure there's some language that doesn't have ambiguity here. It may secrete, like. I'm assuming what that means is Like, I don't know, depending upon where it's settled, if the wood is soft or if it is not, it may secrete an enzyme to soften it. But like, there's technically also an ambiguity that says like we're not certain if it does or doesn't secrete an enzyme. But I'm sure what yeah, now that I say it out loud, they definitely mean it can do that, but it may not need to. Okay. When it has formed a hollow, it undergoes a rapid metamorphosis, shedding and consuming the velum and becoming a juvenile shipworm with small horny valves at the anterior end. It can then begin to dig more efficiently. It bores deeper into the wood and spends the rest of its life as a tunneler. What's its common name again? A naval shipworm or turu. Shipworm. Turu. Economic effects. Teredo navalis, whatever, is a very destructive pest of submerged timber. In the Baltic Sea, pine trees can become riddled with tunnels within 16 weeks of being in the water, and oaks within 32 weeks. Dang, 16 weeks become riddled with tunnels. With whole trees 30 centimeters in diameter or 12 inches a foot in diameter being completely destroyed within a year. Dang. Ships' timbers are attacked, wrecks destroyed, and sea defenses damaged. Around 1730, the year, in 1730, in the Netherlands, shipworms were found to be seriously weakening the wooden dike revetments. Is a stream restoration thing, an impact-resistant material applied to a bank to absorb the energy of incoming water and protect it from erosion. Levee or a dike. Okay, yeah. So the shipworms were found to be seriously weakening the wooden dike revetments, and to prevent erosion of the dikes and subsequent flooding disasters, the revetments had to be replaced with heavy stones at great expense. The shipworm's arrival in San Francisco Bay around 1920 heralded great destruction to the piers and wharves of harbors. It has spread into the Pacific Ocean where its greater tolerance of low salinity levels has caused damage in areas previously unaffected by native shipworms. Okay, so there are other kinds of shipworms, and I guess this one is just particularly nasty. In the 18th century, the Royal Navy resorted to coppering the bottoms of ships. We read about that in the Clapper. No, what's it called? Clipper. The Clapper. Resorted to coppering the bottom of ships in an attempt to prevent the damage caused by shipworms, and it seemed like it worked. No treatment of timber to prevent attack by Teredo navalis has been completed successfully. Has been completely successful. Experiments by the Dutch in the 1800s proved the inefficacy of linseed oil, metallic paint, powdered glass, carbonization, burning the outer layers of the wood, and any of the usual biocides, such as chromated copper arsenate. They also attempted covering wooden pylons with precisely arranged iron nails, but this too had no lasting effect. In 1878, it was discovered that creosote is a category of carbonaceous chemicals formed by the distillation of various tars and pyrolysis of plant-derived materials such as wood or fossil fuel. Okay, it discovered that creosote was an effective deterrent, though to work best it had to be applied to soft, resinous woods like pine. In order to work on harder woods such as oak, special care had to be taken to ensure the wood was completely permeated by the creosote. Submerged wrecks have been protected by wrapping them in geotextiles to provide a physical barrier to the larvae, or by reburying them in the sediment. No permanent solution has been found. That's wild. So these worms, Teredo navalis, they're a real bummer. Yeah, it seems like covering this stuff in copper is like the only real option. I wish we had more pictures. Maybe we do. 'Cause we only get that one picture of them. Come on. Come on. Woo! Here, in the meantime, there was this Destruction by Teredo navalis, which again, screw you if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I don't care, but I do. Why is this computer taking so long? I don't think I have that much open. Anyway, maybe this, oh my goodness, that is really annoying. Okay, come on. Come on. Something load here. I got, okay, I am acting like a little child because I'm not getting my way. It says no internet. What? I have internet. What are you talking about? Just tell me I don't have good RAM. I can handle it. I know I have 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's terrible. Anyway, destruction by Teredo navalis worm in a tree branch. I am such a child complaining about Wi-Fi no work or computer no work, whatever. Yeah, look at those holes. That's nasty. That would be devastating. Terrible to find your ship like that. Oh my gosh, it says I have. Okay, there we go. There we go. Share this tab instead. Here we go. I'm only just now noticing that there is a share this tab instead button. So I suppose any other time that I have gone to another tab, maybe it hasn't been seen. But yeah, that's the one we have on Wiki. There it is, burrowing. My goodness. Ugh, disgusting little creatures. They are troublemakers. Man, oh man. Yeah, those guys are up to no good. Man, oh man. Oh, you can see the shells on that one. I don't know if that's... No, it's not going to get super great resolution. Look at those guys. Those are their little shells poking up. Huh. The palate. This is from an actual academic publication. Fecal pellets, cervical, ventricle, anus, shell, mouth, foot, crystalline style sac. Cool. Full of wood. Okay, cool.